Hi everyone, and welcome to IGN Anime Club! Yay!
Yay!
It's episode 21. This is a show where we just talk about anime. Surprise! I'm your host, Miranda Sanchez, and joining me is Callie Plaguey.
Hello.
Megan Sullivan.
Hey.
And we have a guest today! Yay! So, another guest from video team,
That's
Mike
right.
Lamone.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
Want to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, Mike is my name. What I do, I'm part of the video team. I do syndication. So, all the videos, this video, if you're watching on YouTube, that is me or Armando. So, we help out. We syndicate to the PS4, Xbox One. We help with live streams, help prepare for that. And, yeah, pretty much all video content we touch a little bit, a little push into the internet world.
Yeah, so thank you for coming.
Yeah, no worries. I'm so excited you guys have me here.
Yeah, brought some toys.
Oh, yeah.
Some toys.
Oh, yeah. If you
side.
haven't noticed.
If you're listening,
yeah,
check out the video.
yes.
It's really cool.
We got,
Check out the
or we
article.
can describe it for you. So
That's
we've
true.
got who do we have in the
Giant
Mike?
Bartholomew
we got-
Kuma.
we got Zoro here in his cool action pose about to slice up people with his 3-sword style. And then we got a little chibi Luffy. I got my friend got this for me from Japan, so that was cool.
I want it.
And then I have Bartholomew Kuma, who's part of the Navy in One Piece.
And he's giant.
He's badass.
He's actually giant, though. It's like
He is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is to scale. If Zoro is this size and he's this size.
Yeah, that's about right, actually. They're not from the same. This one's from Pop, Portrait of Pirates. This one, I forget which one this is, but it's a different.
But Kuma's like
But it's
that
about the same
big.
size.
He's
yeah,
pretty big.
yeah. He's like twice pretty much everyone's size.
I always say I would buy a Luffy Nendoroid if it looked just like this figurine.
They don't have one, do they?
They would never. Yeah, they don't. They're not making those. But
That makes me
if
sad.
they did, and it looked like that, I would buy it
Oh,
so
yeah.
fast.
I know.
I wish I could just choose which characters Good Smile picks up for Nendroids because there's so many I want.
That would make so much
Oh,
fun.
I would get a Megumi
Please.
Todokoro so fast.
Yeah, I want.
She's the best.
Yeah, I think they'll probably do Megumi.
I hope they do
like,
Megumi.
There's no way you won't get a Food Wars.
I am
Androids.
Megumi. We're the same person.
She's just the best character.
She's the best.
You're also the best, so it makes sense.
I love the love in this room.
Oh, so much.
That's what Anime Club's about.
Anime love.
Yeah. Speaking of love,
Oh.
love is in the air for Makara no Danchi.
Yay!
Guys, he's here.
You guys,
So this week
our
on,
savior has come.
this week on Makara no Mondays, we had Monday off, so it was really weird, and I forgot that
I forgot it was
great.
it was
Monday.
Monday yesterday.
Yeah.
We recorded on Tuesday, so today is Tuesday for us. And I was like, oh yeah, Makara no Danchi's a thing, and people were tweeting me, it's like, it's finally Library Boy. I was like, I felt so bad because we didn't get to watch it together.
I know. Yeah. Like, it was the day we should have been together.
Yeah.
The day we've been waiting for.
Right.
He has come to save us.
So if you're just tuning in, Makara no Mondays is the day we watch Makara no Danchi together, which is a weird short anime. So it's like 4 minutes
Yeah.
about
About a different boy every
Boys.
week.
Yeah,
There's
so
a
like-
boy of the week.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
yeah.
Oh yeah, this is also for Mike's
Yeah.
benefit because Mike has probably seen us watching this show, but
Oh, you
does
know
not
what?
know.
I've heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you've heard
totally-
us watching it.
Behind
Yeah.
me.
We'll watch and like say snarky comments as we watch.
Yeah.
So and Mike sits by
Yeah.
me and Megan. So yeah,
That's
so
what that is. Okay.
Yeah, so
It's an audio drama. So these very short audio dramas that are now put to pictures on the screen, and every week you have a Pella boy who will talk to you in different environments while you're either taking a nap or about to go to sleep, and they're supposed to soothe you into a sleep pattern, but that doesn't quite work that way at
so
all.
in previous weeks, and I love recapping the show because it's funnier
Yeah.
every week. In previous weeks, there's been a guy who you wake up in his car and he's like, "I'm taking you home," and I'm like, "How do you know where I live?"
I have heard you guys
And-
talk about this.
And
Actually.
yeah. And you know, there's a guy who's wearing like a sleeping bag, like a Snuggie, and he's not sharing anything with you.
I just love that image, like mentally.
Just
I see
him
his like his face sticking out of the sleeping bag, and he's just like really awkward.
It's like a glowworm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, he's the worst.
Oh.
So, but
Yeah, the worst boy.
So,
The
so
worst.
we had seen a list of all the boys
Uh-huh.
previously, and so we knew it was coming up, and we just decided. I don't know how we decided this, but we decided that the library
I
boy.
think he just had the best setting.
Yeah,
compared
he
to a bunch
was
of
the
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 other
best setting and
ones.
looked the most normal and was age appropriate.
I mean, he has a giraffe tie. So
he has a
that's kinda
giraffe
cool.
tie.
his
Oh,
giraffe.
very
but
cool.
He's a little quirky.
I
So
like
it's
him
kind of
already.
weird to say like age appropriate because there are like guys that are 16, some that are like 40 on the show.
Mm.
So it's kind of weird that their target audience isn't one specific age group.
Yeah.
Because
interesting.
for us, over the age
Well,
of
unless
18.
5-year-olds are watching, I don't know. The 5-year-old was appropriate for any age.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so it's kind of a weird thing. Like if there are younger women watching, then of course it's fine for them to.
Yeah, living the real
Age
life boy.
appropriate
Yeah.
for me. Let's put it
Yeah,
that way.
Library Boy was probably the most age appropriate for us as a group watching. And so we just were like, yeah, Library Boy's going to save us. He's going to save us from this show.
I don't know.
Okay.
We just had the most faith in him for some reason. We just lashed on him like,
And-
you can do it.
And it was
And he did?
beautiful.
It did?
Guys, he
All
did
right.
it. It was great.
It was worth it.
Yeah. No, it's
The
just
hype is real.
we were so right. We were not lying. He's
It's
just
like a prophecy. I don't know. It's come true.
I'm so
The show-
happy.
Like we're just happy because the show's been kind of like just bad.
It's been like
It's kind of what you
surreal.
can't really expect. Like there was like very creepy psychological horror kind of things going on.
yeah.
Like,
Let's be specific about why we like him, because we're dancing
Yeah.
around the fact
Okay.
that when
So great.
you've fallen asleep in the library,
Yeah.
Okay.
and he wakes you up and is like, we're closing. You might want to go up to the counter. It's getting pretty crowded.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a little bit strict. He's like, we don't usually let people fall asleep in this environment.
He's so good
but
at his
Yeah,
job.
so you don't
he's
disturb the
been
other
watching. He's been watching
I'm
you.
imagining this right now in my
And
head.
he's looking at your book, and it's all about how to live an exciting life. So it's like, oh, I see you're reading that book. Let me give you a book on kittens.
Yeah, he's like, you want to live an exciting life? This'll help. And he gives you like a children's book about kittens. And I was like, this man, he understands.
it's like totally a picture book. It's beautiful. There's a kitten just like
It's like the it's like it's one of those kids books that's like
Yeah.
the pages are like cardboard so the
Yeah.
kids can't bend them. It's one of those. And I was like, this man, he gets it.
He gets
He
me.
knows my true heart.
like it almost seems condescending, but at the same time it's like
oh, it was
nah, it's
it
just
was
being-
adorable and
it's
funny.
just cute and funny.
And then
yeah.
he's like, it's okay. You can rest here until my shift's over. And I was like, yeah,
Whoa.
well, if that means we're going to dinner or something. He was just,
Yeah.
he was cute. He was not weird.
He's also just kind of
Okay.
like a kind guy that's doing his job well. Like he's like, I try to pay attention to the customers here and like seeing what they read, so that way I can suggest something better for them to read. Like what's next on their plate, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's a strong contrast to last week where the guy was like a total slacker and was bad at everything. Or
Yeah,
Was
no,
that
that's
the
live
last
in the
week.
real life. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
the live
he
in the-
was
live
just
in the
on
real
his
life.
phone,
There was, like-
just partying.
yeah,
and-
it was a college setting last week, or I forget which order. They all blend together.
yeah, this is a college.
Yeah,
That was
so-
I call him cafeteria boy.
Yeah, he
'Cause
was,
you meet him at the cafeteria.
You meet him at the cafeteria, and he's just like, I'm looking for parties on my phone. And I'm like, I'm at a point in my life where it's nice if you're good at your job, and if you're kind of strict at the library, I'm like, cool. He's not going to go easy on me.
He was just like that. Last week's guy was just a jerk, and this guy was actually kind and.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's kind of
He was-
professional.
which is weird.
He was,
Yeah.
he was
They did it on
professional
purpose.
without being a jerk.
And he wasn't creepy. Like that's the biggest thing. All the previous guys have felt kind of creepy in some weird
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And this one is the only one who didn't give that vibe off completely. So.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't say anything weird. Like, I'm going to play you like a violin.
Yeah.
I don't know, listen to you.
Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Okay.
She didn't make that up. That was
Interesting.
real.
That was a real episode.
I'm sure
Someone-
someone's looking at those and it's like, I'm
Someone
gonna use
wrote that
these.
dialogue. Someone was like, you know what's a good thing to say? This. And they put it in. Nope, not this time. This time was just A+, 10 out of 10.
Yes, here's a book on kittens.
Yeah.
Boom.
So,
That was the best. It was-
so we still have the twins. I don't know if they're gonna split them up because I think this is probably supposed to have 12 episodes.
yeah.
We just watched 10.
Well, it
was
defeats the
nine.
purpose
Nine?
if you
Nine?
split them.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
You'd have
sure
to
the
I mean, maybe it's like there's
twins-
supposed to be like a joke or something about it. Like I don't really know because we have the twins, the fruit vendor,
Fruit vendor.
and I think that's it. Like I don't remember if there's another one. There might be another one.
I wonder, because this was episode 9, and if we only have the twins and fruit vendor left,
then it would have to be
then-
split. But it feels like it defeats
But
the purpose
12th,
of doing that.
but if they're not split, the 12th episode could be all the boys,
yeah,
which would be out of control.
Here's
we
a
might
knife.
see,
You must fight for my love.
Whoa.
it becomes a battle arena. It's like
I
actually
need something
I
interesting
want to
to
watch
happen.
that episode.
yeah,
Battle Royale Danchi.
Two men enter, one man leaves.
yeah.
Yeah,
There
be
you
like
go.
12
Playing Mad
men.
Max too much lately.
12 men entered the sea.
Yeah, by the way, my mom finally saw Mad Max Fury Road
Oh.
and
So
really
good.
liked it. And I'm so
Sweet.
excited because I love that movie.
That
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not anime,
Such a
but
great
great.
action
It's not
movie.
anime,
It
but that
isn't,
movie is
but
excellent.
that would be
There
a
you go.
great anime movie. Like, I wouldn't mind an anime about Mad Max.
In the Mad
So we've talked about that before. Like, what would make an interesting anime show?
It
or
would,
an anime movie?
it would be a beautiful anime, for
It
sure.
would be a beautiful anime.
Yeah.
Because they do post-apocalyptic dystopia very well in anime.
yeah.
Very
I'm just saying. Ship it.
Make it happen.
So that's this week's Macarena Mondays.
Yes, Macarena Monday. Yay!
I don't know what we're gonna do when it's over, but I'll figure it out.
We'll watch some other trash.
Yeah, something else. Something else will come up and
Yes.
fill that hole in our hearts.
Sorry.
It's a terrifying place.
Well, we got a new Monday ritual.
We do.
Yeah.
So, what else are we watching this week, guys? Mike, I'm gonna target you because you are our guest.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
I hope you
you.
appreciate it. Like, I don't know. Picking on you now.
So what I've been watching Gangsta. I'm watching that.
There's a recap this weekend, so it wasn't anything new, which is
Yes, I think I'm actually
always
an
worrisome.
episode before
okay.
this week's
It's
episode.
episode 9.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't watch this week's either because
It
it was a
was- it was a
recap.
9.5,
Yeah, I didn't
so-
watch it either.
Whatever.
I've been watching One Piece, of course. Oh, of
course.
Always Saturday night.
What episode are we on now, by the way?
On One Piece?
Yeah.
I believe it's 709.
Golly.
For some reason, I thought it was 900. But then 709 isn't as bad.
So we don't get to talk about One Piece because I missed that boat a long time ago, and someone gave me like the comments like, "Of course you can start the boat." That's intentional.
Very good.
So yeah, like people are saying, "Oh, well, of course you can catch up. Just watch like 1 and 2 episodes a day." It's like that's not possible for me. Like that's an excuse. It's like no,
Oh, yeah,
it's not.
It's hard now.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
in addition to all the other stuff I have to do, like for work and for the other anime I need to keep up with, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So Philson, like, where did you
Where did
start?
it
When did you
start?
start? Like, I know a lot of people said like, oh, I just powered through it. It took me a summer,
Yeah.
and I was just like, you are amazing. Like, I admire anybody who's kept
No.
up with One Piece, like, or anything that's been like super long like that.
Yeah,
It
I know.
just kind of takes that dedication, and it's really
So,
cool.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely high school. I
Yeah.
would not have time now for sure to do that. I first I didn't even know what anime was until I watched Naruto, like in my Japanese language lab class. I just like, oh hey, I was taking Spanish at the time, but then everyone's all the Japanese kids that were taking the class were watching Naruto, and they're on the computer. I'm like, I don't watch anime for homework, so I started that.
It should
and
be.
Then, and then I got into that, and then got into Bleach, and then I heard about One Piece, and it's funny because One Piece was on 4Kids. And I hated that. I was like, "What is this weird thing? What? Why? What's
Yeah.
with the?"
Yeah, I saw like the noodly arms.
Yeah, I'm like,
Luffy, I was like,
it is.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Oh, there it is. I knew she did. Yeah.
yeah, the theme song stuff. I was just like,
Yeah. Well, it
is the
didn't
best.
pull me in as like say Pokemon did. But I saw it and I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm gonna check it out. So one summer I started watching that on this website I can't remember anymore. And then I just went through it up to maybe 300, 400 around there. And then that's when I caught up.
that's when you caught up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then I've been watching ever since.
So
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
has it?
I had a
obviously-
really quiet summer.
So, like, you've kept up with it. What's kept you with the show? Like, is it continuing, like, sustained as, like, a good series? Like, I mean, from people who watch it, like, we hear, like, oh, don't like bash it until you've seen it. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I can never, like, I could if I wanted to, but I don't think I'd
yeah.
have to quit my job, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. So let me tell you. Long
Yes,
list.
please,
Okay.
please
Well, I mean,
educate me.
It definitely, the one reason why I kept it up for so long is the characters mainly. Like, you go through this story, you know, Luffy, he's just so, he's so fun.
Yeah.
He's passionate, he's naive, you know, he doesn't care about what other people think, and he just goes for it. And then he surrounds himself around people that don't match, like they don't make sense. Like they're so different from him, but they follow him anyway. And like you know, it's the friendship and all the like adventures they go on, and
Thank
then
you,
the
Nakama, right?
yeah, Nakama, yes. And then yeah, just they somehow get through every single like problem they encounter, and the feels, so many feels. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, it's similar to Naruto, where you know he's the same type of character. He meets friends along the way, and then they just push and get
Yeah,
through
because
things.
he wants to be the Pirate King, right? That's all I remember.
Yeah,
from
you
the
know,
course. He's
yeah.
like, I'm gonna be the Pirate
yeah,
King.
he wants to be the Pirate King. That's
okay,
his
cool.
main goal in life, and it's funny because he doesn't care about anything else. And the only reason why he like fights people, to be honest, is because you know he doesn't like them. That's the main reason. I don't like how you do things, and you're hurting my friends. So
Come
bam,
on,
bam.
on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gatling gun.
yeah.
So-
something like that.
So he's still not the Pirate King.
He's not.
Okay.
Yeah,
think
it's been a
that-
long journey.
I mean, that seems like hard goal to accomplish. Like, that doesn't happen overnight. You know?
Oh no, it doesn't. Yeah.
Do you think that like that goal still holds up? Like over 700 episodes, like what's kept this show afloat? Like you said, like the characters are super opposing and stuff. But does it have like great arcs that have kind of pushed it through, or does it seem like disjointed? Like I know a lot of people say like, it's just like a fun show.
Yeah.
And it seems like it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. His main goal is to get the One Piece, but he always gets sidetracked for sure. Like and who's watched One Piece? I mean,
Well,
you've played the game.
My main exposure to One Piece has been through the games. I review a lot of One Piece games, and
Okay.
I was already familiar with the show, like kind of peripherally. But I spent the whole weekend playing One Piece, so I'm having like
You're
feels.
good.
I'm reviewing Pirate Warriors 3, so look out for that on IGN soon. But yeah, no, like there's so many feelings in this show. Like
There really
the
is.
friendships are so strong, and like even with the Going Merry, when the Going Merry
Yes. Oh,
like
that's
is so it's their first ship. And it's part of their crew. Like they consider it part of their crew.
Speaking of, you're okay with us kind of diving into the story a little bit?
You know,
Go
I'm
for
I'm going through the first story arc now. I'll never catch up,
Okay.
so I'm gonna
So
probably
you're
stop
totally-
after the unless I'm
Okay.
really hooked. I'm enjoying the first story arc right now, but 700 episodes is a lot of time I don't have.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that's why that's actually one of the pluses to playing the games is Pirate Warriors 3 is pretty much the whole canonical story up through the Dressrosa arc, which is like the most recent
one,
arc. It has an original ending, but so it's a good way to get like the super abridged version, right? But like so their first ship, like it's been through so much. It flew up into the sky.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some power.
Yeah, it flew
Oh, yeah.
into the sky.
They go everywhere.
It went everywhere, and it's just it can't be repaired. It's just on its last legs, and it saves them one last time, and they give it like a Viking funeral, and it's like thanking them.
I know.
And I'm like, oh,
I know. God.
and like they're all crying. They're all
Yeah.
crying. There's a lot of crying in this show.
There's
There's a lot of crying.
I might
in
have
One
cried a few
Piece.
times. I can't remember when, but
But the
I'm
characters
sure
are
I
always
have.
crying. They're always crying. It's the best.
Oh, yeah.
but because they have so much love
Exactly.
for each other, they
Yeah.
care so much. They're so invested in their relationships. Like, yeah, there's the goal to be the Pirate King, but
Yep.
like Luffy will do things for his friends.
Yep.
He'll do things.
No matter what.
He'll get sidetracked because he's helping a friend, or he's
Exactly.
we have to save our friend or get this one crew member back, the crew member that left or whatever. That's
Yeah.
why it's one of those shows that like if I were keeping up with it, I would be really excited to tune in every week just to kind of like take my mind off of like heavy stuff because I watch a lot of heavy shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one's just like we're all friends and
Exactly.
we're pirates and my like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like they like she said, they get sidetracked a lot, so
Yeah.
they never really go for the One Piece. But and what's great is also like so many characters have a lot of issues or backstory, which they try to overcome, and then Luffy helps them out through all of that. Whether it's his crewmates or just side characters that he doesn't have to help them out, but he does, and then it leads into something bigger, and it's like, oh crap, now I gotta fight the Navy.
now I gotta fight
Yeah.
Grandpa. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. So there's so many things that, and it's interesting because like there's on top of like just normal just going from island to island, there's a lot of conspiracy and like stuff happening behind the scenes that like between like the government and then there's these pirate warlords that have like a contract with the Navy, so they don't touch them because they do their own thing and then
Right,
they do
the
their own
Navy
thing. They
just
keep
kinda-
exactly,
yeah.
and they're like the heads of the pirate era. So yeah, there's this stuff happening in the underbelly of the sea world, and yeah. So yeah, there's that. So
it.
it's fun, but then it's dark, and then you cry, but you laugh. It's everything.
So-
shows everything.
Yeah.
If you had to recommend one arc, what would it be? Like if there's like I have time for maybe a few hundred episodes.
goodness.
I don't
That
know
is-
how long this can be.
that
I'm
is
sure there's like
really
plenty and
funny.
plenty of arcs. But like what was like the one segment that really stood out to you that you would say, hey, if you're gonna give One Piece a try, maybe
Oh man,
this is the one that you should.
that is hard. Yeah, because a lot of what makes the arcs, in the middle of the anime and later in is the relationships that you build up and you learn about.
Sure.
But I would say the biggest arc would be when they go to Marineford and Luffy has to. Or it's spoilers. Luffy is trying to save his brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then before that, there's an arc where they're in a prison, and he's trying to get out of there, and he's working together with other bad guys, and because he's just so like passionate about saving his brother and trying to get out, like all these horrible dudes just team up with him. It's like, this guy is the best, and we can get out of here.
Yeah.
And then so that arc for sure, like riding right up into that moment. Can't remember the name, but I think it's Marineford.
Marineford, I think,
or the war. It's the Great War, I think. And
Awesome.
what it's called. But yeah, that's the main arc. I think that will totally. It's the turning point from there, and then that's when like the Straw Hat Pirates finally grow up, and then
Interesting.
get to the New World is what they call it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, good to know.
Yeah.
So, listeners, please let us know which is your favorite arc. Like, what is
yeah.
the essential like One Piece arc for you guys, or what would you like share to a friend if they only had time for like a little bit?
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, of course, watching the entire series is probably more beneficial. You get to grow a relationship
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, but
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
good to have like at least one like
I know.
the one hit.
Yeah.
If there's
Oh.
a spot to jump in, that's
That's where it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think aesthetically, my favorite is Thriller Bark because I love Perona.
Yeah.
I love Perona. Yeah.
Thriller Bark is an interesting one. It's very Halloween themed.
Yeah, I like creepy stuff.
I like
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very
Yeah.
cool.
Let us know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One Piece.
Dream it. All right. Switching gears completely. I tried Monster Musume this weekend. Yeah.
Tell us.
So I had heard like a lot of people like people in this office are watching it. Like I know a lot of people really like this show. It's popular.
I didn't know anyone
Yep.
in the office was watching
Yep.
it.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I was watching with somebody else, and we were like, okay, might as well try it. And we turn it on. The first episode is like the snake girl,
Yep.
and like the first 10 seconds of that show, I was like, nope, bye.
It's like, what?
It's-
okay.
So I think one of my least favorite tropes, and this show kind of like starts off at 11 with this trope, is the thirsty girl throws herself at an unwilling guy. I hate that trope because it plays off like non-consensual stuff against men as like, haha, funny, he should love it.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
And so that immediately was a big no for me. Also, I don't think I'm in the monster booty demographic. Just not about the
Yeah, so
not
if you
about
don't
that
know
life.
Monster
about
Booty.
Monster Musume,
Right.
it's basically
It's a harem anime.
It's a harem anime, but
Okay.
all the women are monsters. So it's like a
So as you can
there's
imagine,
a spider lady. Like
I see.
there's like yeah.
Yeah.
you have a torso of a person usually, unless they're like kind of a humanoid
There's like a
sort of
slime
monster.
girl.
Yeah.
But
Sweet.
so the
Anime.
reason I tried it is because the premise of like monster girls, I was like, yeah, monster girls. It's not what I wanted it to
No.
be. I like monster girls that are like empowered. These girls are just like, I want you for some reason, even though I'm a different
Yeah, it's like
species.
Sweet.
It's just weird, like why? Like this guy, it doesn't
Which-
seem very appealing.
Oh,
Which I think is a big thing with
say that
harem.
a
Is
lot
just
in
because like
anime.
you're supposed to put that you're in their shoes kind of
Yeah.
thing, like
I-
a blank slate.
I
But-
really dislike that about harem anime. Because I can't suspend my disbelief. Because like, okay, I'll be watching Nisekoi, and the main character in Nisekoi, I'm like, yeah, if I were his age and went to his school, I'd probably have Doki Dokis for him. Like I like him as a character, so I can believe that like
Did
more.
you say Doki Dokis? You have Doki Dokis for him?
I did say that.
Thank you for saying that. That made me feel better.
I mean, it's the proper affection here.
Made you feel better about yourself.
I've not been in a great mood, but that kind of perked me up just now. I was like,
There you
Doki
go.
Dokis.
I mean,
I
it's
like
just-
that. I have Doki Dokis for
I've been
him.
listening to this Kiari Pamu Pamu song about. and
Pamu.
She talks
She's
about
the queen.
I love her. She's perfect. She's flawless.
Yes.
But so with Monster Musume, he's just like the most bland person, and I'm watching it like this is boring.
Yeah, like Nisekoi Raku is like actually interesting. He's a cool guy. Like knows how to cook. Like he's really
He's super talented at that.
kind and chivalrous and like in the very sense of the word. Like he's always out there to help his friends like no matter what. And it's Monster Musume doesn't. I mean, sure, it's the first episode or whatever, but you don't give any reason for these women to like him. I mean, maybe later on, but at this first appearance, you're like, oh, he was nice to her, and that's the only reason that she sexually attracted him. As far as I know.
That is such garbage because I feel like when I was younger, that's like the kind of thing, like, oh, this guy's nice to me, so I guess I like him now. Like I just had like the mentality because I don't know, stupid things. So it really irritates me when because niceness isn't a personality trait. It's just what you should be expected to do. I don't think that niceness should be like the top quality of anybody because like it's a baseline to me. And so it really irritates me when it's like, oh, he was nice, so now she wants him so bad that she'll just throw herself at him to the point where he's like saying no and pushing her away and she's not stopping.
And then
it's gross.
The catch
is that he's been warned that if he has sex with her
or any of the monster lady refugees that are from a different
they're like refugees. They're like refugees from their respective home worlds.
Okay.
And this is as far as I got. I turned it off after this.
I don't.
I turned it off before like halfway through the episode. If he has sex with any of them and it's put in a less delicate way than that in the show, then he'll be like violating like peace laws and it'll be like this whole problem. It'll like be considered harming them. It'll be considered harming them, and that's another really gross thing because if the implications are really bad. I just think it was so gross.
And their anatomy also just does not make sense. Like
I don't know how he's gonna do it anyway.
This show is just like fan service to the men. No, I mean like her lady parts are just like really weird places. It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and her tail like it's just monster booty.
Anyway, it's just a really strange show that's like 100% pure fan service that is just not.
That's what I'm getting.
It's not done.
We always say this, but we're not anti-fan service. And I was watching with a guy, and he also was not a fan. He also thought it was gross. So
interesting.
It's the way fan service is done, and in this case, it was just disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, like it's gonna be someone's favorite anime, and someone else is gonna hate it. Like that's just how things go. Like we're just not fans.
I don't think
you like it. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with liking this show. Like I don't think that it makes you gross or anything like that. I would never say that about somebody liking anything. But to me, it was like this could have been done so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
especially monster girls. That could be so cool. Like just monster girls.
Someone's gonna make it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
A cooler one.
I just want to read like the fan fiction where everything's good.
Yeah, like there are tasteful ways to do things, and this is not one of them.
They failed.
A lot of excuses to make things happen, and it just kind of feels like
a lot of shortcuts. Yeah.
So,
but
Monster Musume.
That's a thing.
Yeah. Anyway, on to better shows.
On to happy shows.
Yes.
Wakakazake.
I am behind because actually.
How did you get behind on a 2-minute show?
Because I'm watching with my boyfriend. And so I was actually talking about this before the show, like, I love my boyfriend and stuff, but he has like this weird resistance to anime. Like, he wants to know. He's like, oh, I want you to show me the cool shows and stuff. I'm like, yeah. And every time I'm like, hey, why don't I watch this show? He's like, eh. I'm like, but you like it. Like, we watched Death Parade. People were asking us to talk about it. And I watched it with him. And it took us so long to watch it. Like by the time we were watching subbed at first, and then by the time we ended it, like the dub had already caught up and passed us. And I was like, all right. I mean, at least we can watch the dub now. So, I don't know. Anyway, so that's why I'm behind Wakakazake.
That's interesting. Just very quick tangent. I am like that with other mediums. Like when like my ex would always be like, let's watch Friday Night Lights, and I liked that show, but I'd be like, not right now. I don't know.
Totally. No.
Like I would just I procrastinate doing the easiest things. I would procrastinate just watching TV. But not with anime. Well, that's not true because I've been procrastinating on Charlotte, but
I mean, certain shows.
But like Wakakazake is one of those shows where it's 2 minutes and I tune in and it's just 2 minutes of pure joy to me.
I'm 2 pashus behind.
This week it was like it's so cute.
So in Wakakazake, it's just a woman going out to eat dinner by herself after work. And she just goes to different restaurants and just enjoys herself. And it's kind of nice. Like, she just is happy. Like, it's just pleasant.
What's different about it is that this is very rare for anime. So a single office lady goes out by herself, is not trying to socialize, is not trying to pick up guys or go out with her girlfriends, just goes to the counter and enjoys food by herself and talks about the details of the food, like the salmon skin, and it goes really well with like hot sake and things like that. It's just, she's totally chill, and if Umaru-chan is my spirit animal, then Wakako is just me. that's just me with food. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to eat it properly. I want to enjoy myself.
You just want the perfect alcohol with your dish. Like,
yes,
that's it.
I love that she loves beer. That makes me so happy.
Cool.
I was so excited. So I was channeling her on Friday because we all went out on Friday. And we were eating fried food and drinking beer, and I was like,
that's right.
like it's just the best. Because I actually, this show is kind of inspirational to me because I'm not very good at doing things alone. Like I'm like, I don't really like. I want to go get food, but I have to go by myself, and that's really scary. But she's just like, no, I'm gonna go. I really want this food item. I'm gonna get some karage or whatever and drink a beer. Right? It's like lunchtime.
Yeah.
Drink a beer and just kind of enjoy it and then leave. And I love this show for that. I love how simple it is.
They're not trying to give her a story arc of, oh, she has to meet the perfect man or she has to get a promotion at work. It's just relatable. Had a bad day at work, somebody screwed you over at work, just have food, have a beer, chill, collect yourself. And it's just always a very lighthearted, happy ending, basically. She enjoys her food, it gets really excited about it, and she's enjoying her food so much, other people around her are like, that looks really good. I'm also going to have some, like...
She also kind of
chicken teriyaki.
becomes an influence.
Yeah,
which
which
is
is
cool.
nice.
It's just a pleasant show, and if you have like 30 minutes, just go watch all of them.
I did that yesterday. That's how I caught up. It literally took me about 22 minutes to catch up with 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's just
How many episodes are there?
10.
10, so there'll be 12. But it's just super pleasant.
They're all 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very pleasant.
Interesting.
Like Makuro no Danshi, it is like 1 minute intro of like the song.
Not
and-
even. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's really...
20 seconds, yeah, so...
It's
just
absolutely
great.
adorable.
So it's nice, like, seeing more... like, I was never into shorts, like, years before. Like, this year's the time I finally started watching shorts. I think mostly because I didn't really know about them.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this show so short? I was like, oh, okay, it's just a style of anime that I just haven't seen before.
Yeah, same. I started
cool.
with I can't understand what my husband is saying, and then I watched Tekyu, and now I'm doing Makuno no Danshi and Wakuzake, and I'm really enjoying it
I
because
watch Take You. Like, I know.
Tekyu is interesting.
It looks
It's interesting is a good word for it.
Yeah,
interesting.
We had Crunchyroll on. One of our guests
Yes.
talked about it and spoke very highly of it. So,
Yes,
It's just a fun
Veronica
show.
really likes that show.
Yeah.
or Victoria.
Victoria, I said Veronica.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had someone else in my brain at the same time as Victoria, and it just merged into one person. That's kind of amazing. They went Super
Yeah.
Saiyan on me.
Anyways, yeah, both of our Crunchyroll guests
Yeah.
were
Take You is
into
is
that.
goofy.
Yeah, so before the show, I heard Gatchaman crowds.
Oh.
Let's bond over that.
Yeah.
So,
Go for it.
yeah, we haven't gotten to give much love to it on the show. Like, it's in its second season. I've mentioned before, it aired in like 2013, 2014, something like that. Like the first season did, and I watched it, and now the second season's out and hasn't had a lot of buzz. But it's one of those really rare shows that takes on like politics and what's it called? I have the word in my head. Well, just social issues. And just society and like how hive mind kind of works and how social media affects society and technology and all these kind of cool things that a lot of shows don't ever tackle, and presents it in a really interesting way. And through its characters too, like some of the characters, people are like, oh, I hate this character. It's like, well, I feel like a lot of people just don't understand. It's like this person is supposed to represent this issue and like be the relatable link to that and stuff. It's just super smart. Have you just watched are you watching the first season?
I've watched I think 5 episodes the first season.
Okay.
And then I fell off because there's too many anime.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
But I liked it though. It was cool.
yeah, it's just a beautiful show. Like it's so well animated. Like the character art is so beautiful. I love it
No,
so
I dig
much.
it. Yeah.
But just a quick spiel, so we don't have to get into it too much. Just absolutely watch it. It's kind of a remake of the original Science Teen Gatchaman. Full title, whatever.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, absolutely check that out. I would recommend that if you just want to catch up on the show. That one has a first season done, and it's on the second season, and it's fantastic.
Sweet.
So,
I will do that.
yeah. Also, I think the show I watched most over the holiday break was Overlord. because I just caught up. It's just a really enjoyable show. Like I know last week I kind of like harped on it for some of the beginning stuff, but like I just want to emphasize that I'm enjoying it. Like it's just fun. Like seeing a character who's just like, oh, I don't care. Like you're throwing me the hardest things at me that you think are super powerful in this world. They're not really. It's just so good. It's so satisfying too. So the succubus is like super in love with the main character. Like, this isn't like a spoiler. It's just like a fun thing that happens in the show. And the protagonist is out venturing around the world trying to like get intel about where he's at, because like he gets, if you haven't seen Overlord, don't know what it is, this guy is like a level 100 guild leader in this virtual reality MMO, and he gets stuck in the game. And the game is changed, like it's a different place now, like he doesn't know where he's at, and so he has to go collect intel and like try to figure out things, and he has to be smart about how he's helping people, because like his guild is full of monsters, and so they're like, why are we helping humans? These guys are scum, like, you know, they look down on him. And so he has to be like really intelligent about how he chooses his fights, and it's like, well, we're trying to spread the name and all this kind of other stuff. Anyway, it's just a really cool premise. Like they execute it really well. First few episodes also, but one thing, while he's gone, like there's this succubus who's like, he programmed right before the game was supposed to shut off that would be madly in love with him just for funsies. And like she's not really central in it right now, which is kind of weird, because she's like this is the person they're going to sell figures of for sure. Like that's something in anime. It's like just part of business. And she's not in a ton, but when she is, it's so funny. Like she's just crazily in love with him to the point where she has like a body pillow of him, and it's just the best. It's this weird medieval thing, and she's just got a body pillow. It's like, this show's great. All right. So I don't know. I'm just like really enjoying that show. It's just like a delight. It's not super serious. It's just fun. So it's like one of the more fun shows I've had this season. But
Cool.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that. So you guys want to hit anything else?
Yeah, because I didn't talk about anything.
Yeah, I know. You got.
Go
So
for it.
talk about it a little bit.
First of all, I went to SAC Anime over the
right.
weekend.
Yeah.
So that's where I got this awesome shirt. If you're listening, I have a dark navy blue shirt with Chibi Batman and Chibi Sailor Scouts on it, which is
It's really cute.
super awesome. And then shout out to Neil Gabriel, who helped me take pictures of all the cosplayers, and that's going to go up on IGN's Snapchat page. So it's going to be kind of a best of series. So looking forward to that. And yeah, it was really cool. There were some cool voice actors there. I think Laura Bailey was there with her husband Travis. Liam O'Brien, who says he'd like to be on IGN Anime Club. So really looking forward to that.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was a lot of cool cosplayers, a lot of cool merchandise. There's going to be another one in January. So if you didn't make it to the baby anime convention in Sacramento this weekend, there's one coming up in January where a bunch of people are lined up.
Wait,
So-
already?
Yeah,
Another one in
have-
Sacramento?
Yeah, they have
Oh.
two a year. I don't know why, but
Wow.
yeah, so that's pretty cool. And so that was my Saturday, and then Sunday I binge watched a bunch of anime. So I watched Ushio and Tora, Charlotte, School Live, Wakakozake, Umaru-chan.
School Live.
I've started Fairy Tale.
Wow.
And so
Got
yeah.
a busy weekend.
So it was so hot. There was nothing to, like, I could not move yesterday. It was so hot. We have no air conditioning in our house. So I sat outside and took my iPad and just watched
I'm totally
anime.
down
So
for
I
that.
sat
Shoot.
and watched Wakakozaki for like, I was like, oh, it's only 20 minutes. What do I do the rest of my day? So I wanted to talk about, I was a little disappointed in School Live this past week because it was nothing but fan service. And this,
Yeah, it was their fan
This
service.
in the-
I'm glad you brought that up.
This is the one they
episode.
wash the dog.
no, this is the next one where they play in a pool.
And the clean
Oh.
implant.
I'm
I
really
have
glad
not
you brought that up because I had like blocked it out over the weekend. But yeah, I was super disappointed.
It's bookmarked with really good things, but the chunk of the episode, I mean, we're really late into the series. It's like you gotta start wrapping it up unless it's
Yeah,
amazing.
we're on episode 9.
Yeah.
It
And
felt-
this is ridiculous.
It felt like such a waste of an episode in such a short series that has been so good, and we've all been raving about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't need 20 minutes of them playing in a pool in their bikinis. I didn't.
It's a
Yeah, it
beach
didn't
pool
set up
episode.
anything. It didn't like foreshadow anything.
Yeah,
To the
it was-
very, very end,
Oh,
nothing
interesting.
happened.
Like there was a really big reveal too, like something in the previous
Yeah,
episode, and
yeah.
like they mention it, but they're like, "No, we just need to take a break and have fun."
Yeah,
That's
Like
weird.
it didn't.
they were like, we need to process this information. I'm like, I'm sorry, girls, but if it were me and
I
I
would
had
be freaking out and trying to figure out immediately.
I had just
Yeah.
found this
Right.
bombshell information.
yeah.
I'm just disappointed that they did the obligatory bikini beach episode.
And
Yeah.
I know that like the anime industry, like a lot of it is sustained on, I mean, like any industry, it's sustained on sales. And so selling figures is often
It's like super important.
a primary concern, unfortunately, for, you know, if that's like us, we were disappointed in that. We don't want to see that, but I understand why they, you know,
Right.
if they felt like they had to do it, I would understand why. But I don't know. Like I could have dealt with like, oh, they played in the pool for 5 minutes of the episode.
Right, instead of the entire episode where it's just like they had some good references, like there was some Madoka Magica reference in it,
Yeah.
like, some cool things that are like, oh, well, that was fine, but also you only have a few episodes left, and the show has been going so well. You should have done this earlier, like or something, like just move on. Like we have,
That's too bad.
there's like important things. But
Yeah. I mean, it was bookended really well. And then Charlotte, I'm still on the fence about now that I know the big. So episode 10 reveals more of the twist, which since not everyone is caught up, I'm not going to spoil. But I'm curious to know. There's only a few episodes left of this.
How many are there? 12?
I don't know. I don't know if it's 13 or 26 or what it is, but it feels like. I thought it was only 12 or 13.
I think it'll
though.
probably end up pretty soon. I think it's just gonna be this one season. But
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty satisfying.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I definitely think that the big reveal about you and the circumstances of everything. I like that they explain certain things where you're like, why is this happening? Or why are they all going to this school? And da-da-da-da. Like, it explains that very well. I'm just not sure where it's going to end up or how it's going to resolve itself. Yeah.
There were lots of good references in Umaru-chan this week.
Oh my gosh. The whole thing with Phoenix Wright?
There was a Phoenix.
That was so funny.
They combined a Phoenix Wright and a Danganronpa reference.
It was
That's cool.
pretty
She
amazing.
turned into Monokuma, and she's like, boop, 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 and I was like, oh my god,
That's
because I
actually really
love
awesome.
Danganronpa. And then there was a Madoka Magica reference in that show too this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where it was just straight
There
up
was-
Homura,
there was-
like it was just her.
Yeah, with the fish on her head. It was really
Yeah,
weird.
it was weird.
But there were references. There's always references in that show, like even from the theme song. You got a bunch of games in it.
Yeah, tons of games. There's like the Mario like death sound in the theme
Yeah.
song. There's always references in that show, but I was just especially happy to
This
see
week
the
especially, yeah.
Phoenix Wright and Danganronpa.
I was
one.
cool.
laughing so hard.
good.
And then when she was a trash monster and kept rolling around with her pudding, I have to make a point. No,
was
but
good.
like I loved how she was like rolling around on the floor, like screaming and shouting about her pudding, and then it's like it ends up she ate the pudding.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What anime is this again?
Himoto
Himoto
Umaru-chan.
Umaru-chan.
Okay,
Trash
I'm
monster
gonna
inside
write
us all.
that down
Yes.
The
later.
trash monster inside of us all.
Okay.
Yep.
Looks interesting.
Yeah.
Or sounds interesting.
Yeah, so
Looks.
that's what we've been watching and playing more, of course. Like, we can't always talk about everything.
Yeah.
But we do need to jump into our topics for the week.
Hey.
We are quickly running out of time.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep. So, one thing we wanted to bring you on for, Mike,
Yes.
is because we have some similarities in some shows we've watched that a lot of people have also watched and debate about a lot. So, Sword Art Online and Attack on Titan. So these are probably some of the more recognizable shows of anime, like in just mainstream pop culture. Like people know it.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan is everywhere in Japan. Like when my sister was studying abroad there, she said like every gas station had like a figurine or some like keychain or something easy to find.
I wish we had that.
Yeah, and a lot of people kind of hark on it for being a bad show. I just kind of want to talk about that a little bit because I think that's wrong. We've talked about it a little bit before, and now let's jump into it. So, how much of Attack on Titan have you seen? Like all of it?
I've seen all of it. Yeah.
Watch all of it. I've seen all of it as well, and I'm also reading the manga, which I actually really enjoy.
That's further down the line, right? It's way past.
Yeah, it's
that.
like
Yeah.
way past what we have now. So I was watching Attack on Titan. Like, I watched the first season, or the first arc, I guess,
Yeah.
first half of it. So fast. Like, I watched the first time I found Attack on Titan. I watched the first 8 episodes in one sitting.
Yeah.
Because it was so good. Like,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. I was
Yeah.
super hyped about that show.
yeah. And so I think the big problem is the hype of the show, and it trickles off very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was saying like the first arc, first half, is fantastic.
It's really
Yes,
strong.
for sure.
Yeah, like you build up Eren as a character, you understand his pains, and then it just starts to fall off super fast.
Yeah. The poop hits the fan,
Yes.
as they say.
I mean, so I was watching the second arc as it was live streamed, or simulcast.
Okay, yeah.
So I had a little bit more, like a better pace for it, so I wasn't so drained down by it.
I did the same thing actually.
right,
I caught
so-
up and then I started watching it as it aired around that time too.
Right. So like it was like a weekly thing for me and one of my best friends in college. We'd go out and get barbecue and sit around the TV and we're like, oh, it's up. All right, it's up. So then we just like, watch, and it's like a ritual
cool.
for us.
Yeah.
And we got to theorize about like all the mysteries and clues and stuff that they've dropped in from Attack on Titan, because obviously this world is really unknown. Like, where are the Titans? Why are there Titans? Why are they walled in? Nobody knows their history. But going back and watching like the second arc, so the first arc is like 12 episodes, and the second arc, it just feels bad.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
So the biggest problem I have is that people say this is a bad show, and I completely disagree. Like, I think it is a good show with very big problems that don't make it overall bad.
Right.
Like, there is a reason it is popular, or as popular as
Yeah.
it is, and it's because like it's such an interesting world, right? Like, humanity has been caged in for 100 years in these walls and like these different layers, and there's a social hierarchy.
Yeah,
It's
the class
really
system.
Interesting, yeah. And then this military group that's just trying to venture out and figure out what's going on outside, and these Titans that will eat them on sight. It's like, why? Like, they look like humanoid, and there's all these mysteries that pop up as they explore more, and it's just so intriguing.
Yeah, it's almost like the second half, like, because the world is super intriguing. You think about all that world building, and then it just kind of drops off.
Yeah.
And you're left feeling. I was left feeling like, but what about everything? Like, you built up all this stuff, and then it's just kind of like,
Yeah. You kind
Right.
of you're like in the city, and then the second half you're following a small group of people for a majority of
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the second half is when Eren and friends go out and kind of try to explore more about what's happening in the world, and like some bigger events take place. But the problem with that part is that there's a lot of exposition, and in a show that's kind of big on action, and even like the soundtrack and everything's like very big and
Yeah.
powerful and moving.
Totally.
And
Love
you
it.
just have so much talking, like, stop. And Eren becomes such a big baby. Like, he is
Yeah.
probably one of the worst protagonists I've seen. Like, I just hate him. It's like, please, just die.
Yeah.
Go die. Let Mikasa be the star of the show.
good.
Like, there are some really great characters in here. Like, Sasha's fantastic.
Yeah,
Mikasa
I
is
love
fantastic.
Sasha. Potato girl.
Yeah, like this girl, like Sasha's like a woman who's just like obsessed with eating, like, and that kind of speaks to like how starvation works in their cities, and like how she's
Yeah.
brought up like food is such a big object and it's so important to her, and that now she's in the military, she's getting better food, but
Yeah.
she gets like super greedy with it, and like she doesn't know how to handle that.
Yeah.
And
like during the training, she's just eating a raw
Yeah.
potato.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like the best scene.
yeah, I mean, there's so many like memorable and cool things when you see Eren, and he's just like, God, you're such a drag.
Tired of them.
I feel like a lot of things do that where like I don't know if I just like female characters a lot. I just love female characters. Like, someone's like, "What's your favorite female character?" I'm like, "Yes." So like
It's understandable,
it
though.
irritates me because there's so many cool ones. Like, Mikasa's so cool. It really bothers me that someone so lame is the actual protagonist and she's not.
Yeah.
Like, I felt that way. This is not anime, but with Pacific Rim, I was like, why isn't like Mako the protagonist of this movie? Like, that bothers me when that happens, and I feel like that happened with this show. Like, she's so cool. Why isn't she doing everything? She's the best at everything.
She is
really
actually
is.
one of the best, but she's still foolish. Like, she still has her problems. Like, she's
Yeah.
too eager sometimes, and she kind of lets her emotions get ahead of
Yeah.
herself from time to time.
Yeah, like a
Um,
real human person with
Yeah,
flaws.
like,
Yes.
I love it.
so in relation to the manga, that absolutely still comes across. Like, she's very cool, very quiet, is super defensive of Eren. Like, they're brother and sister.
Yep.
Also, Mikasa, that is how you pronounce her name in the Japanese version. In English, I think the dub, it's like Mikusa. And so every time I say Mikasa, they're like, it's not Mikasa, it's Mikusa. It's like, there's
No.
no you in her name. I'm sorry. I'm not going to
They probably do that because people will be like, Mikasa, Sukasa, ha 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 ha.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
who knows?
That's probably
maybe.
why. I feel
don't
like
know.
that's
That's
probably
interesting.
because her name is My House.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
exactly. So like, it's like random note, like the dub and sub, like even like the games, like there's so many like weird terminology differences that I don't understand how that happened. Like the Survey Corps is called something else, and the
Okay.
omnidirectional gear is like 3D maneuver gear in the sub, and then the dub it's like the omnidirectional maneuver gear. Anyway, little weird things that bother me.
Yeah. No, I don't do dub for like
Yeah.
anime games. It's just weird.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's the worst.
but getting back on track, like continuing with the manga, I'm super excited to see what they do with the second season because it definitely picks up from where I think the second arc kind of started failing. It gets a lot more exciting. I think there's a lot of more interesting reveals, and there's also a lot of new mysteries too. So there's a lot to sustain. I think last year recently, creator of Attack on Titan also said that the manga still has like 3 years left.
I heard that.
Yeah,
I saw that on Twitter like today. I feel like people keep
it's kinda
saying
weird
that
because,
news.
But that was also said last year.
Yeah.
So it's like there's still 3 years, and I guess it's 3 years forever.
Someone's
it's
just
always
keeps
3
sharing
years.
the same tweet.
Yeah, so I mean, if you liked Attack on Titan, I think you should absolutely try to check out the manga. Like, it moves a little bit better, even though there is still some of the exposition, some problems with Eren. Like, he's still a problem.
Okay.
The reason I haven't checked out the manga is actually I hate the Titan art. Like, it's so grotesque to me that I just can't
totally.
do it. I really don't like it.
They're scary.
But
Yeah.
I do. I mean, like, I normally like that stuff, but it's just grotesque. But I might give it another shot because I did like the show in general. I thought it was disappointing. We talked about that on a different episode, but yeah. I mean, like, I think the world building is what makes it worth it to me. I really like the whole
interesting.
concept of trying to unravel that mystery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely has really interesting characters, so I think it's worth reading. And I'm reading it on Crunchyroll for a while. I think when they first started, or they first linked their subscription service to their manga service, they had all of the volumes on there, like everything.
Oh, wow.
But now they only have a limited number, limited number of chapters. But they do simulcast the manga, so every
cool.
month when it comes out in Japan, it comes out here. So it's pretty cool. So that's where I keep up with it. But of course, they have like big volumes of the manga if you ever want to catch up on those. But I just know it's available. So I mean, if you're interested, if you liked it, if you had fun with it, don't let people get you down for that. Like if people say, "Oh, well, that's a baby show," it's like, no, enjoy it.
I do
Have
see
fun.
so many
That's
people
nice.
calling it like it's always included in those like anime starter pack memes where it's like, here's your anime starter pack: Naruto, One Piece, Attack on Titan, and whatever
Hey.
else. Right. Well, it's like it's kind of insulting.
It's
when, like,
condescending.
it's very condescending. That's what I don't like about those memes. Like some of them are funny
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh yeah,
I
that
get
was my starter pack. But like, the people calling it a baby show, it's like that's pretty condescending. That's not necessary.
So-
yeah.
It's popular for a reason. Let us know what you guys liked about Attack on Titan. I obviously enjoy it. Like it's not the best, but it's still fun. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. Eventually, we'll have to talk about the movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna save Sword Art for another episode.
Okay.
So we promised Sword Art, but I think it does not have the time it deserves because this is also another one of those big, hey, this is an important show for a reason, and it does some really great things, also some really bad things.
Yes.
Probably more than Attack on Titan. So no, absolutely more worse things than Attack on Titan.
No.
But yeah. So with that being said, let's jump into our watch party.
Hey.
I wish we had like a cool transition. Like, I was like, oh, watch party.
Watch party. Watch party.
We need like watch party.
Like the TARDIS sound or something.
We have all those voice clips from Vic Mignogna. We should start using
Oh.
them.
Just him being like,
Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
go dig those out. Yeah, so Steins Gate. Let me read this comment because it describes it. Jason Serrano on the Anime Club Facebook group, which you can go to at facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club, said, fell behind on the watch party for Steins Gate. Just watched from episode 4 to 14, and all I can say is, holy stuff. Yeah, which is just like, it's so
That's what I was thinking as well.
yeah, so this is the punch in the face I was talking about earlier.
Yes.
It's like, hey.
To me, it felt more like a slap. Like I didn't feel. I was just kind of like stunned afterward.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so that happened.
Yeah.
So, episode 11, we have as Killer Katie at Katie ISHH.
Katie-ish?
on Twitter. Katie-ish, I'm guessing. Yeah. Never has a plate of Jell-O been so menacing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that was weird.
Alcani has been getting a lot of threats.
Yeah.
Like, there's something obviously up. Like, he's freaking out. Like,
Super
Marguerite
creepy.
is noticing,
Yeah.
like, his, like, lab members, friends, they're noticing that something's just wrong. But they're continuing on with their experiments anyway. And this is just the time when poop hits the fan.
As in Mike's words.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's just hard.
It's interesting. Like I liked the compressing memories into data that they can send back in time. I thought that's cool. Like just the concept of that as memories as data.
Yeah.
I just found that intriguing. And then obviously the implications for that. Because when a new concept is introduced in this show, I start thinking, oh, how are they, like, where could they take this? What could they do with this? How could they fix this problem? And so my mind just went all over the place. And then episode 12 happens, and I was like, oh God. Oh God, no.
Yeah, I'm still baffled. They can actually do all this. Like, you know, when they timed it with the TV or whatever downstairs, and there's like, oh, it's a lifter. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, like, there's still some stuff that kind of goes over my head, but at least they don't try to go super into the specifics. Like even when Christina,
there's a part where she
was explaining like how they extract the memories and how they can convert it.
I'm just like,
it's simple enough where you can kind of like grasp what's happening, which is nice.
Yeah, because like your neurons use electrical signals, so it makes sense that it can be transferred into data.
Yeah. The great thing is that I'm playing Steins Gate Vita for review, which will go up hopefully in the next couple of days, and it actually has a very detailed codex that takes all of these terms and explains them, and you can refer to them anytime. And it's fun. There are hundreds of them. There are also these great J-pop cultural references when you're like, what are they talking about? And it'll actually have an explanation. They don't try to fit it into English. They actually will be like, this is what this means in Japanese and what it's referring to, which I really like. So I'm learning all about curved black holes and lifters and different sort of like electronic fields and what it means. And it's actually really interesting. So it's like I don't have to take copious notes because now my Vita actually has all the notes for me. And while I'm watching the show, I can reference it.
You get those Japanese internet memes explained at all.
Yeah, you get all that stuff explained where you're just like, what is this about?
Because I've been watching the subs still because I don't know. I'm so dedicated to subs, and so like there'll be some like Japanese meme reference, and I'm like, I know it's a reference, but I don't know to what.
So of the two episodes, like episode 11 and episode 12, 12 was definitely the most important. 11 we learned about memory transfers, like that was the big thing.
Well, also he also talked to Kurisu about her dad.
Was it 11 or 12?
I think that was the end of 11.
I watched these late last night, and they kind of blurred.
I think it was it goes from 11 to 12.
I cheated, and I couldn't stop after 12, and I watched until 17.
I wanted to do the same thing too, but I stopped.
Many people. So I've seen this before, so I was like, I'm just gonna watch episode 13 too. It's fine. I know it's hard. It's hard.
Obviously, we're not going to spoil anything past 12 for people who are not cheating on the watch party.
Yeah, and so kind of going back to Kurisu and her dad, like it was a really good moment for Ocarina. Like I think these two episodes really highlight his personality and kind of contrast really well with the whole I'm a mad scientist thing, and kind of maybe prove like why that is such a good characteristic for him to have, because like suddenly when he becomes serious and when he becomes scared, it just has that much more of an impact.
You get that depth of humanity to him when he's kind of relating to her about her dad, and because before, like, I didn't like him at first. I talked about this like way at the beginning of this watch party. I was just kind of like, I don't like him. He's a weirdo jerk, and I don't like him. But the more he sees and the more disturbed he gets, the better you can see into his personality, and how much of he's actually a compassionate person, despite appearances, I guess. And so I like the show because I love the characters more and more every episode. I learn something new about them, and it not always is a good thing, but I love them as characters more the more I know about them. I think they're so brilliantly done, you know.
Yeah, no, totally. I felt the same way. I just didn't like the guy. Yeah. And then later and later he just starts to stop, doing his weird phone calls, and then he's not laughing as much anymore, is what I've noticed. And
he's changing, and that's something like
it's a good observation.
Like they were saying that my Yuri is their eyes and ears. Like she's as Shining Finger points out, is not important in a way, like to the development of the lab and like what they do, but she's important because she's like their observer, like she's their little piece of humanity that's like watching everything and like questioning, like, hey, is this maybe not a good idea? And like Ocarina even says at a point when he's talking with Kurisu that maybe she's wanted them to stop doing the test a long time ago.
Yeah,
she knows it's affecting Ocarina in like this really detrimental way, and maybe just how their friendship works too. It's just not feeling right. Like things are just weird.
Yeah, they talk about how she sees the lab more clearly than all of the other lab members do, which is I bring this up every time, but I love that. Like again, at first I didn't like Mayuri. I was like, oh, of course she's gonna be the dumb one who is annoying, and that's how I thought she was going to be portrayed. And then the more I learn about her, the more she is portrayed as necessary, and that's why it stings so much when Shining Finger is like, you're unnecessary, bang. Because
Yeah.
she
big part.
she's so obviously necessary to them. She's the one who keeps them grounded. She's the one who points out the morality or the lack thereof of their experiments. And so that's the most painful thing about episode 12 is Mayuri's not necessary because she so is.
So there's a big thing that I want to point out between the sub and the dub for episode 12. When we find out that Shining Finger is actually part of CERN, like, well, like she's just been this quiet, weird observer, and you can kind of tell that there's always been something wrong with her being there. Like, Okabe was like super hesitant to add her to the lab. Like they're like, don't like Mayuri keeps talking about things like stop, like guys, we can't let people know. And at first you're like, oh, they're just having fun or whatever. But also like, even though he's kind of dumb and plays off the mad scientist thing, like Okane got this stuff to work. Like, he's smart. And like him and Kurisu like doing this together, like now that they're tag teaming, they have actual really important stuff. Yeah,
they're all really talented.
Yeah, and so at the end when Shining Finger kills Mayuri, it's really weird between the sub and the dub because Shining Finger's a little bit more sentimental towards Mayuri in the dub. In the sub, she sounds like a little bit more vicious. She's like, Mayuri's not needed. Like she's not necessary. And then in the dub, she's more like the little one, like just kind of being like more sentimental and like it's kind of weird how those like kind of differences come across.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's just really weird little things that are kind of interesting to watch between them and how their characters are portrayed. I don't know, Shining Finger is just the worst, and I'm just like, please die.
Gosh, she's the worst. Yeah.
I was like, what the?
No, I thought maybe she was just like a shy, awkward, like socially awkward person who just wanted to text or email or whatever. I don't know why they're emails and not texts. That's something that I've always been like, these are texts, aren't they? But like I was like, oh, maybe she's just not good at in-person communication because that's totally fine. But now I hate her.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, you're the actual worst human being in the world.
Bring up a few questions. What is FB?
Yeah.
And what did Shining Finger text to herself? Like getting rid of a phone? Like what?
Yeah,
was that?
her D-mail.
So yeah, now that we know she's part of CERN, like what is this? Like that's a lot of big questions that are coming up that you cannot forget. So.
Yeah.
It's Facebook. No. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I know Facebook.
She's doing it for Facebook. Doing it for the Vine. Yeah, like no. Yeah, that I couldn't not think of Facebook when she said FB.
Yeah, seriously, I was like, ugh.
And I felt like such trash. I was like, it's clearly not Facebook because if it were, it would be called something dumb like People Book because we have like DK Pepper and IBN.
That's right.
But yeah, obviously it's a person probably or
maybe
who knows. But
yeah. You guys got anything else, Megan? Anything else? Cool.
We got.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those very high impact moments, and that you find out more for the next episode. Like I've been like trying to restrain myself because I watched more. I was like,
I know.
Crap, was that this? No, I was on this episode.
I
gotta
am
pull back.
so excited for next week's watch party.
Yeah, so
because I cheated and went way ahead, and now I cannot wait to talk about it.
Next week we're gonna watch episodes 13 and 14. If you haven't already, then be sure to comment and let us know. You can hashtag IGN Anime on Twitter and Facebook for us to easily find your comments. And we'd be happy to read them on the show and kind of get some more things.
For sure.
Yeah, we also got a really awesome message. I'll just finish off with Cody Becker's comment on Facebook. Said, I don't want to spoil anything. So apparently it was 12 that I saw and somehow completely missed episode 11. So here I am thinking that I am finally going to see what happens next after 11, the new 12. But no, I get to wait another week to see what happens again. I think I was D-mailed. That's a thing, right? So.
That's so funny that you
Very
say
cool.
that because I was thinking like maybe deja vu is just I got D-mailed and then I'm getting like this residual memory.
Yeah, somebody is getting D-mailed somewhere.
Someone D-mailed me and like I just have these residual memories from the previous world line. Like that thought crossed my mind last night. I was like in my bed like eating mac and cheese because I'm a trash monster. And I was
that's perfect. That's
No,
you know, I was
good.
eating mac and cheese in my bed. It's whatever. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, because I had like some deja vu to a time when I had deja vu, which is the weirdest sensation, like deja vu of having deja vu.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, that is weird.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
I've
like,
had a few
I just got D-mailed so hard right now. So Cody Becker, you great minds think alike. I'm glad you said something.
You got D-mailed.
Oh, we should start saying that. Someone's like, I can't remember what I did this weekend. Sounds like you got D-mailed.
Yeah, so absolutely tune in next week. I think we're gonna have a show. Maybe, maybe not. I have to talk to these two. I will be out in Japan for TGS, so if you guys want me to go, like, I'll be posting so many photos of Japan. I'm gonna be there for like a week.
We're so jealous,
I'm
but so
so
happy
so
for
awesome.
you.
I'm gonna buy so much stuff I don't need. So you can follow me on Twitter to see that at Habit Grows, and it's Habit with a K. Kelly, where can we find you?
You can find me at Inky Dojiko, INKYDOJIKKO.
Megan, MEGHAN _ IGN.
And you can follow me at XPMNMs on Twitter.
Cool.
That's what it is?
Yes.
Whenever I think of Mike's Twitter handle, I'm like, XPM, like I just pronounce it weird in my head. That's
It was a thing. Yeah, no, I'm not going to go over it.
We
Later.
know.
Cool.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yay.
definitely.
But let us know what you
Yeah.
think.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Watch along with us. It's fun. Anime's fun.
Yeah.
Yay! Thanks for watching, guys. Till next week.
Bye.